Hello everyone, and welcome to the first part of the course for our TOEFL iBT self-guided online course, and we're dealing with reading comprehension. All right, reading comprehension is often thought of by most students as being the most difficult section of the exam. A lot of students say they don't have enough time to finish questions or have enough time to complete the reading section of the test. But the reading comprehension is very manageable if you have strategy and if you have tactics in terms of knowing what to do for this particular exam. All right, and so what I would like to do is really encourage you to study the strategy and the methods and the tactics in this part of the course, because they'll help you to be very efficient at what you're doing with the TOEFL iBT reading comprehension. A couple of myths that is good to break for a lot of students. One is that students think they have to read the passage prior to answering questions. No, don't read the passage. It's not necessary to read the passage, all right, because the questions will tell you exactly what you need to read. So don't do that, okay? Let's not do that particular time-wasting measure. Another myth is students think that they need to understand the passage subject matter. You can have a question about any subject matter. It could be about archaeology, it could be about biology, it could be about chemistry, it could be about business, it could be about social theory, it could be about agriculture, it could be about geology. So it could be on any subject matter, and you don't need to have knowledge of a subject matter. Keep in mind that the TOEFL iBT is a skills test. Okay, they're testing your skills, and they're testing if you can answer certain types of questions, and if you can not fall for certain types of traps. It is a skills test. All right. When you get to the university itself, that's when they're going to be more concerned about your intelligence. The TOEFL iBT is not an intelligence test. Okay? So don't fall for it being an intelligence test. You have to understand that for the TOEFL iBT, that you just need to be able to answer the questions that are answered. And the questions will tell you specifically, very specifically, what you need to read, okay? So you just need to follow our rules and our methods for what you're doing. All right, now our basic structure for reading comprehension is very straightforward. All right, we know that a reading passage is about between 700 and 800 words long. It's going to have about 13 to 15 questions. You have about 3 to 4 passages on the exam. The computer will give you one question at a time. Also, understand that on reading comprehension, you can go backwards. All right, you can skip a question and come back to it if you need to. Now, typically what they're doing now for reading comprehension is they'll give you, if you have 4 passages, they'll give you all 4 passages at the same time and give you 80 minutes. All right? But that still means that you only have 20 minutes per passage. Do the math. 20 minutes per passage, okay? And if you use our methods and our strategies, you will finish in under 20 minutes for each passage every single time. All the information for the answers is located in the passage. You don't need any of your own information. That's why I tell you it's not an intelligence test. It is a skills test. All right? Skills test. All answers are worth 1 point, except the last question is worth 2 or 3 points depending on its design. All right, for the TOEFL iBT, there's certain skills that you need to be really good at to do well. You must be able to recognize keywords, recognize synonyms, scan for keyword sentences, understand context clues, coherence, paraphrasing, inferencing, major and minor ideas, and recognize trap answers. These are the skills that you need to be good at doing in order to perform well on the TOEFL iBT. Alright, so we have to work on getting better at these different skill sets. Okay, here's something that's really important. How does ETS pick good answers and pick bad answers? This is really, really important. So I'm glad we're going over this before we get into how to do reading comprehension and how to answer the questions. Alright, good answers will come from one sentence. Alright, and only one sentence unless one of our exceptions applies. The way they make a question for the TOEFL iBT is they go to a reading passage and they look in a sentence. And then they will then design a question based on that one sentence. And they will then pick an answer from that sentence and use synonym language many times for that answer choice. Sometimes they will pick an answer choice from two sentences when you have a keyword sentence and the next sentence starts with this, these, those, that, or so, or some other kind of connecting language. Alright? And so we know that is how they pick good answers for the TOEFL iBT. Our bad answer choices are chosen from the surrounding sentences. So the sentences that are above and below the keyword sentence is how they pick their bad answer choices. So now that you understand that, you're going to understand why our method is read what's necessary. Don't read too much. Read the keyword sentence and the next sentence if the language calls for it, but don't read too much because then you're doing the opposite of how they pick good answer choices for the TOEFL iBT. Alright, so we want to make sure that we are aware of that. On reading comprehension, you're going to have several different question types. We're going to have our factual detail questions, purpose questions, method questions. Alright. We're going to have our negative factual, inference questions, reference questions, vocabulary, paraphrase, attitude questions, sentence addition, and summary questions. And one that's not on here is our chart question, so be aware of that also. Timing of reading comprehension is very, very critical. You have to be aware of this. You're going to have 20 minutes for a passage and have about 13 to 15 questions per passage. That gives you about a minute to a minute and a half to answer each particular question. Timing is important. When you're practicing your reading comprehension, always use a clock. Alright? And one thing that's going to help you with your timing is to be confident. Confident people don't waste time. People that are unsure waste time because they check every single answer. Choose the correct answer based on our methods and move on to the next question, and your timing will be in order. Okay? Bad advice from other people, bad advice from other books, don't do this stuff. Don't scan the passage first. Don't read the passage first. Don't read the paragraph and the topic sentences first. Don't do any of these things because it's not good, it's not proper. Alright? Don't look at the answer choices before deciding on the answer yourself. This is historically bad advice. Don't follow it. Okay? Alright, good advice. Go immediately to the questions without reading the passage. Questions go in chronological order, except for our vocabulary question. There should be vocabulary there. Our negative factual question, and also sometimes a paraphrase question. Alright, synonym language. Alright, good answer choices will use synonym language. Alright, good answer choices will use synonym language. The correct answer is always in agreement with the topic sentence, and be aware of your trap answers. 75% of the answers on reading comprehension are wrong, so you must be aware of that. Stick to a strategy and remain confident. Alright? Keywords are the key for doing well in reading comprehension, and you're going to learn that every single question is about finding keywords, finding synonyms for keywords, and understanding the synonym language that's used in the answer choice. Okay, so those are the basics of our reading comprehension. Read through this information here about the critical importance of keyword language. and you'll be ready to begin learning how to do this particular portion of the exam. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon.